on Friday. Actually, I'm not all that excited about it. Well, maybe I am. I do feel good. Still feeling very much like I did yesterday and a couple of days before that, very neutral. Again, not a lot of up or down in my emotional state this whole week. And I know I kind of stumbled through that for whatever length of time that I recorded yesterday, which really went to demonstrate how out of it I really was. And I woke up this morning and I feel the slightest hint of passion and excitement, and I don't know if it's because it's Friday, because it really hasn't been in the forefront of my mind that it's Friday and the week is over. Again, with the kind of adjustment that I made last week and with how I've been toying with my ability to separate from situations and remain neutral in the presence of situations that I have to deal with at work, where that's very easily to get sucked into the drama of it and feel the effects of that. I really feel like I've maintained a very neutral base. So, and the up and down associated with the beginning of the work week and the end of the work week, since I've kind of modified my perception of that, has left me feeling kind of empty. But again, there's none of that extreme anxiety associated with some of the things that I have to deal with. And even yesterday, there's been two or three different circumstances that we're currently involved in with owners or tenants where somebody feels like they're wronged, and these are the kind of things that we deal with on a daily basis, or have the potential to deal with on a daily basis, that really make me not like this job because of how hard it is for me to separate from those circumstances. And I don't want to have my life affected by somebody else's. I talked about this in great length a week ago, their ignorance, because they really don't understand what they're involved in. And as much as you try to remain neutral and not get emotionally involved in the situation, and explain to them what exactly the circumstances are, what they're involved in, and what their obligations and expectations should be, they're a lot of times extremely emotionally involved in the situation, and you really can't help but feel that emotion from them. You can't you can separate yourself from the situation, but you can't eliminate the projection of hostility from somebody that feels like you are doing them wrong. And that's where I lose my patience, and I have no desire to continue to do this line of work, because I don't want to have to police those situations anymore. I don't want to have to. The thing is, though, when I put my mind to it, I'm good at it. I can, and it's really a matter of manipulating people, of manipulating the perception. You find a way to make a presentation, basically presenting your case to shut them down and eliminate any possibility for rebuttal. It's what you're really trying to do, and that's really what any argument is, or any dispute over anything is, presenting your case and trying to separation from the situation, which prevents me from getting so emotionally involved in the situation or emotionally affected by the situation. And again, I've been working on finding that neutrality, that area where I just don't get myself into the extreme highs and lows, ups and downs of my emotional spectrum with work. But in the absence of that, it hit me yesterday that I don't have any other reasons to have any ups and downs. these situations that need to be handled, need to be manipulated, and I've been working on not only manipulating ones that I'm actively participating in, but in coaching other individuals, such as my assistant, in how to address this and how to deal with these situations. It's given me an opportunity to show my understanding of psychology and human nature, and being able to try and manipulate a situation to basically end what could be either a conflict in the beginning as it's starting, or something that's already developed into a full-blown head-to-head battle, and the best way to approach and diffuse that situation and come away with a win. And but as we were actively working on this, and I was about a half an hour late last night at work because I was in the middle of typing up basically a letter to, this one was to an owner, trying to diffuse a situation in which he feels like he was wrong, which he wasn't. But again, you got to sit down and figure out a way to explain it without giving offense, without irritating or aggravating the situation, causing him more stress and anxiety and more anger. So you want to diffuse what is already potentially there, but you want to close all the doors and all the windows that he could possibly try to come back on. And you don't want to cause more problems for yourself by saying the wrong thing. So Dobbs, my assistant, had typed a letter to this individual, and I read it, and it really wasn't bad. It probably could have passed, but I felt like it left some gaps. It left some opportunities for the owner to come back and say, all right, well, I don't understand. You didn't really clarify. Or, all right, well, you said this, and now that made me think of this, and this is my new stance. And you don't want to give them you don't want to knock them down, and just to give them the opportunity to take another stance, another position to argue back on. You really just want to cut the whole thing off and be done with it, because the longer you deal with it, the harder it is to cope with, and it's just more stress in your life. So the quicker you can resolve these situations, the better for you, and the better for them. So he sent me a copy of what the letter he thought he'd spent some time on it, and I read it, and I spent about an hour and a half yesterday afternoon, the last part of my day, evaluating the words that he used and trying to reword it a little bit. And I thought, when I first looked at it, all right, well, if I scrap this word and replace it with this word, or if I change this phrase to this, or I restructure it and put them in this order, it'll have a different impact. So I thought I could easily adjust his. I ended up having to scrap the whole thing, and I just started from scratch, basically saying the same thing but in a different way. So I spent quite some time doing that, and tried not to let myself become emotionally involved into that situation, and then I will pass it off to him once I have it complete. I did not get a chance to work on it anymore this morning, and it's nearly complete. I just need to fine-tune a couple things and maybe add a sentence or two, but I'll do that when I get back into the office. But there was a couple other situations that were going on, and a couple more that came up that were emailing back and forth, and one of my biggest complaints about the job and what I expected to do is not having the separation when I go home, and still having my emails coming to me, and nothing will ruin my night quicker than getting a shit email from a tenant or an owner, somebody that's upset while I'm at home, and then knowing about it and thinking about it, and it can really be devastating. So last night, as I was getting some of these emails, and I knew what they were about, and I pretty much knew what they were going to say, but I didn't open them, and I just said, I can deal with this tomorrow. So again, it was me more developing that separation from the job and some of the stresses of that, and just putting it up, say, all right, you know what, I get paid to do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and there are certain things that I'm expected to address and deal with as emergency situations, or things that need to be done that would be in the off times above and beyond that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 period. period. And none of these situations are. There's no sense in allowing myself to get stirred up about it and ruin my time away from the office with stuff that it can be dealt with then. So I felt very good about that yesterday as I was working through those situations and maintaining that separation and not letting those things bother me. And even sometimes when doing that, you put something off till later, and put it off till tomorrow, and you know it's there when it's going to be there when you get into the office, and there's a certain level of anxiety and dread for going in because you know that's waiting for you when you get there. And I had very little of that. So as a matter of fact, I didn't really have any of it. I maintained a conscious awareness of that without it really having any impact on me emotionally. Again, it comes down to that feeling of neutrality that I've been experiencing the last couple of days. So that's helping me get through this, but there's, like I said, a certain absence that I'm feeling, which is partially distressing a little bit, but not so much, I guess. So, but that's kind of where I'm at, and as I'm working my way through these thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and these things that I have to deal with at work, I was cooking dinner last night, and it hit me. This job, and we talk about it at great length, how quickly it can burn you out, and what it can do to you if you allow it to. It really hit me that vacation time and time away is absolutely necessary for maintaining this job, especially if you do it in the manner that I do. And to me, I'm thinking like every 3 months. You need a week off every 3 months just to step away and go. I remember, and I was having some flashbacks from our recent vacation. We went on the cruise in beginning of January, and I really did not get to enjoy the first couple of days because it was really, I was unknotting myself. I spent the first couple of days unwinding and releasing some of the anxiety and stress and tension that I'd been carrying that I didn't even realize. And I'm usually pretty consciously aware of how bound up I am from a psychological standpoint. And able to address that, but it didn't really hit me until I got on there, and I was like, I'm not feeling this, I'm not having a good time. And it was a couple days into it until I finally was like, wow, I can't believe I was that. And it was the natural process of being away from the office, being out of those situations, and enjoying the beauty and the things around you, and the company of the individuals I was with. And it's like I never want to feel that again. That's part of what started me on this this pattern that I had been on since we got back from the cruise. It's like I don't ever want to get like that again. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to have to fight to get back to a state of a better quality of life because I'm allowing my work life to destroy my ability to enjoy. And so that's where the path has gone from January, February through March until a week or so ago when I said, you know what, I'm letting now the battle to not allow myself to fall into that again ruin my life. So there's, it's two different things. You either get sucked into the work and allow that to damage you and your ability to live a quality life, or fall into a path of regret and anger because you're still doing it and you don't know how to get out of it. And that's exactly what happened. And again, I'm in an area of neutrality, which is, it feels empty to me, but I'm not feeling those feelings of dread and anger and anxiety, which is good too. So sometimes it's probably a good idea to find that neutral zone and try to regroup. So everything compiled into one for this situation right now seems to be working in my favor. The absence of my family, the isolation that I have, the changes in my perception and perspective towards moving on a new path, but not allowing the desire to change my old pattern and my old path affect who I am. So there's a lot of things going on right now, and I feel good, and I think what I feel good about right now is the clarity and the understanding of that, the ability to see and be aware of that. And sometimes just being aware of your circumstances is just as freeing as anything else. And that's where I think I'm at right now. I feel a certain amount of freedom. I feel like I am truly aware of my circumstances and my surroundings, and I'm embracing where I'm at and my path and my ability to continue to move forward, and my ability to generate a body of work along the way that's going to help somebody else find their way down this path. Because as I'm doing this, as I'm recording on a daily basis and monitoring my ups and downs and my understanding and my awareness of my situations, I'm leaving, again, a trail of breadcrumbs for others to follow. Somebody else can look at and say, you know what, yes, that makes sense. That's where I'm at. That's something I can do. Or it may stimulate somebody else into an idea, a philosophy, an idea or ideology that they can develop and create something completely new. And that's the multifaceted benefit of what I'm trying to do here. And hopefully it will have some draw, some value to other individuals, and in the long run hopefully have an impact on humanity. So I'm at our property at Montebello, and going to shoot some fresh pictures here. Last time, or the market pictures I have, I'd shot when they were doing the move out, so I had to be strategic with how I took and placed the pictures to not get the movers and what they were moving into the pictures. But the owner has requested that I come back and get some fresh ones that maybe taken from a better perspective to help market the property a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm here, and there's so many days. Today's one of those days. I feel good, I feel clear, I feel focused, and I just want to talk, and I want to talk, and I want to talk, and I just want to take one subject after another and elaborate on that. And I feel like I would be more benefited from that than anything else. But I do have work to do, and I'm going to fulfill my obligations and do that. And if I get a chance to later, maybe I will do some more recording.